the dips from that dive bar?
Funny. That's what I've been calling you.
Touché.
Hello out there, great lands and lands. Welcome to an all-new video. In this video, we're going to be doing a movie review of a new film that just came out the end of June and is a all-new film in the DC Studios universe. So we're going to get right into that. Before we do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss this video and any other videos I put up. As always, people, if you enjoy my content here on YouTube, definitely check out my other social media platforms, which is X, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Patreon. Pretty much both of these regularly, so definitely check them out. As always, people, if you really want to help support the channel, please think about becoming a member on my Patreon page, where once you become a member, you get access to all kinds of extra crucible you don't get to hear on my YouTube channel. Plus, also, every month you're a member, you can pick any movie, and I will review it for you and put it up on the channel. So, definitely something to look forward to, something to check out. As always, let's get right into this. So welcome one and all to an all-new video. So like I was saying before, we're doing a movie review of a new film from DC Studios, and it is the newest film in that franchise, and from James Gunn and Peter Safran, and also a film that came out the very end of last month called Supergirl. Yeah, Supergirl. Yeah. So Supergirl is the second film in the actual DC Studios franchise now, right after Superman, which came out June of last year, and is the first theatrical outing of a Supergirl film again since 1984, which is pretty funny to think that it's been 42 years since the last time we got an actual Supergirl film in theaters. So it's been quite a while since we got one, and I think that 1984 one is absolutely phenomenal, so much fun, so enjoyable, and just really entertaining, and I absolutely love the actress that played Supergirl in that film. I thought she was absolutely fantastic. And, you know, I think that, you know, a lot of people wanted kind of a Supergirl film over the years and stuff like that, and just, they never really got around to it. So I was actually surprised when they decided, let's put out a Supergirl film versus, you know, another Superman right away. You know, because we are getting the second Superman film next year, and I think that, you know, having kind of that Supergirl film in between was kind of an interesting idea, at the same time as being, you know, it could do well. Well, after seeing this film and after hearing all the people talk about how this film is, in my personal opinion, yes, I think this film had a lot of potential, but definitely didn't live up to what it could have been. There was definitely a lot of things about it that just really, I feel, pushed the men audience away from the film, and I definitely know that they were trying to really bring in, you know, it to be a female lead type of film. It was meant for the female audience. I get that. But at the same time, when your majority of your audience is men, or the ones going to see superhero films, you really want to pull them in too along with that, because even with the man-eccentric films like Superman, Batman, stuff like that, there's still that cliche of things that it still, you know, pulls in the female audience too. It's not just men, it's also women that are enjoying that thing. And that's what this film unfortunately did. It just really alienated, I feel, the men audience, and I think that's why it didn't do as well as it could have. It definitely was one of those films that they were trying to, you know, definitely make very different than anything we've seen, especially in the last 40 years for a Supergirl film. But overall, unfortunately, I just wasn't a huge fan of it. I did enjoy parts of it. I thought that the CGI was amazing, and I thought the practical effects were amazing. I thought it looked amazing. I thought the action choreography was done really well. I thought the alien creatures were very interesting. I think overall, the story itself was an interesting story to an extent, but in the overall scheme, I feel, like I said, I just feel like it was trying to alienate men from enjoying this film. And that's just the vibe I got from it. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with that, which is fine. That's why it's called an opinion. But overall, I think that's kind of why this film didn't do as well as it did. Now, this film is directed none other by a gentleman that goes by the name of Mr. Craig Gillespie. Oh yeah, Craig Gillespie. Woo, Craig Gillespie, yeah! Now, Craig Gillespie, he's been around for quite a long time. He's done a lot of great films. And I think he's a really great director. And so when I found out he was the director of this, I was actually really, kind of impressed that they got such a great director. And I was like, I wonder what he's going to do with this. And overall, I think he did a decent job. Now, the message he, put across the film, did I agree with it? No. But overall, I think that he still made a really great action, entertaining film. And like I said, this film has a lot of great qualities to it. It just doesn't hit the spot like Superman did in 2025. Now, when I did my Superman review, I wasn't a huge fan of it at first. But as I watched it a few times, it's actually grown on me. And I'm hoping that maybe Supergirl will do the same thing. And, Craig's vision will, kind of do that same thing, like with the Superman film. But I highly doubt that it will. But I think that Craig did a great job of giving us great physical fights throughout this whole entire film. Great job. Really fun, really enjoyable. I think he had a great eye for showing us the different worlds and stuff like that, making it very interesting. Also, it being very space-eccentric, which made me think Guardians of the Galaxy 4 the whole time I was watching it, which it's too bad because I am if I wanted Guardians of the Galaxy 4, I would like it to be Guardians of the Galaxy 4, not Supergirl pretending to be Guardians, And I don't know if that was intentional of Craig Gillespie himself, but definitely I feel the influence of James Gunn and Peter Safran on that. But I think that Craig, once again, just, did a good job of getting some great essence out of certain characters throughout the film. And I think that, overall he did an okay job. And I just think that, unfortunately, he didn't really pull together as great a story as he could have. And the story just didn't feel completely cohesive throughout the whole entire film, which is too bad because I feel like if they had been a little more seeming more cohesive, it could have been a better film as well. But Craig, I still think, did a great job of giving us a very physically entertaining film that was action-packed and had a lot of great action sequences throughout it and, had a decent type of entertainment value. And I do have to give him props for bringing us that and giving us this kind of, interesting take on a different type of Supergirl film. Now, if you haven't seen anything Mr. Craig Gillespie has directed, definitely a great film to check out of this that I think is one of his best films to date is a great film that's a remake that came out in 2011 called Fright Night. Yeah! Fright Night. Yeah! Absolutely love Fright Night. I think it's a fantastic film. I think it's done so well. And Craig knocked the crap out of it. He made such a great freaking film. And this is such a great remake. Had a great cast. We had Anton Yelchin in it, Christopher Mintz-Plasse, Colin Farrell. I mean, they all played the character so well and to the T and really, did a great job of giving all those great original actors just as much fun as they did. And I love that this one definitely differentiated itself from the original film and, took the great things and kind of embellished them a little differently. And I think Craig did a great job and shined his directing abilities that he can make a really solid action film with even some comedy in it that just worked out really well. It was just super enjoyable. And I think that he made a great film there that just was a really decent remake that actually was, I feel, sometimes a little better than the original. I really do. I thought that Fright Night was a great new remake that just really kicked it. And I thought it was even a little more better than the original. If you haven't seen anything Craig Gillespie has directed, definitely check out Fright Night for his directing. He did a phenomenal job with it. But overall, he did an okay job with Supergirl. Like I said, he did some great things with it, and I think he did some lackluster things with it. Other than that, I still think he did a decent job with the film and gave us an entertaining show that still was entertaining to a point. If you haven't seen anything Craig Gillespie has directed, definitely go check out Supergirl in theaters. See for yourself. What do you think? Did he do a good job? So this movie has a very interesting cast. It's a very, a variety of different people that really provide some interesting characters and some that just aren't the greatest. But overall, I think that this cast did the best they could with the source material they were providing. And definitely because they were going off of a certain comic book run, which was just came out a few years ago that they were going by. I still definitely think that there was a lot more potential if they had gone with something a little more older that was more true to Supergirl, who she was. And I think that these actors and actresses could have made the characters even more fun and more enjoyable. But definitely there was a standout in this great cast who I absolutely can't wait to talk about. Now to start us off is none other than Supergirl herself, Miss Millie Alcock! Oh yeah, Millie Alcock! Woo, Millie Alcock! Yeah! So Millie Alcock you might recognize from, House of Dragons and so forth and stuff like that. You might recognize her from a few things over the years, she's been in things here and there and stuff like that. And, she's become kind of a popular name. She's kind of become very, sought after. And so hence, when she got the role of Supergirl, I was kind of like, I don't really see it, but okay, we'll see how it goes. I didn't think it was really a great choice because I don't think that she's anything that great. What she brought to her characterizations and anything I've seen her in, it just doesn't feel anything that great or that, it was very profound. Like, I felt like she was a Supergirl-esque type of, actress, that really would bring out greatness for that character and shine and give, kind of a greatness to who Supergirl is. And I was kind of like, I thought you would want somebody a little more experienced to play Supergirl at this point and to give a little more profound, performance. And it's just too bad because I think that there was so much they could have done with Supergirl which would have made the character so much better. And I just was not a huge fan of her throughout this film. I thought that her characterization, especially it being this character that doesn't give a crap, and is like a drunk basically, and is supposed to be like a real person, as I feel they're going to say that she was trying to portray the character as. That's like kind of what the comic book run that it's based off of is, and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's like, it's fantasy worlds. Superman, Supergirl, they don't really exist in reality, so I want some fantasy. And whenever I've seen Supergirl has been just like Superman. She's been a image of hope. She is a person that saves people. She doesn't kill people and so forth. And that's what I want from Supergirl. That's what I expect from Supergirl. And, the fact that they want to take it to a whole different extent and change it and stuff like that because they go with a different version and want to change things up and make it different because, we can't do the same. It's just too, it gets too repetitive, as a lot of people say about redoing things or remakes and stuff like that. And it just kind of cracks me up. I'm like, because why would you fix something that's not broken when it's really good? And that's what Supergirl has always been. Supergirl has always been a great character that is very strong, a strong woman, and at the same time, just like Superman. And that's what I expect from my Supergirl, and that's not what I got in this film, and I just didn't care for that. I just didn't think it really played out for the character and made it good. I mean, the last time I saw Supergirl where she was really good was Melissa Benoist's version in the Supergirl TV series. And versus Millie Alcock's version, Melissa Benoist I would have picked over her, 100% all the time. And I think that they should have gotten Melissa Benoist to play the character in this film. I think she would have been a better choice and a better actress. And just Millie Alcock just did not do anything for the film. I thought she was just annoying and boring and just did not do anything good with this character. And the fact that, they tried to praise her and stuff like that, what I feel with a lot of things, it didn't do anything. It didn't feel like a superhero film. It felt like almost like a vigilante film versus what they could have done with it. And it's just too bad because there was so much they could have done with that character and Millie could have done with that character that she did not do. And make her have to be, like I said, a drunk again. I'm going to be a broken record on this. That whole aspect was the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because why would you do that? Why would you want your superhero, your main superhero, who's supposed to be a image of justice, being a drunk all the time? That to me just does not say superhero. And it was just too bad because I thought they could have done better with that. And it's just too bad because Millie, I feel, has potential to be decent. She has potential to grow as an actress. But I feel that she was just very constricted and very stuck in one place in this film as this character. And it didn't work for me. Now, if you haven't seen anything Millie Alcock's been in, definitely a show that has been huge for her, that has made her a big name, which I wasn't a huge fan of this show. I don't think it had the same flavor and bite as the original series that it's based off of. And then, of course, is the show called House of the Dragon. Yeah, House of the Dragon. Yeah, I mean, she did an okay job. It wasn't the greatest, but overall, at least she was kind of learning how to be a better actress in the show. And I think that, her performance in this versus how she played in Superman was a little better actressing than she was in Supergirl. And it's just too bad because House of Dragon had so much potential to be a really great spinoff, and I just did not like it at all. That first season I thought was so dumb and so boring, and so I haven't watched it since. And I've heard people keep saying, "Oh, it gets better and better," so maybe eventually I might check it out. But I think Millie Alcock's character, in the show is definitely a better representation of her acting ability versus her acting ability in Supergirl. And I think that, if you're going to watch her, I think definitely check her out in House of Dragon, see for yourself how much better she could have been in Supergirl. But overall, if you have not seen her or anything, definitely check her out in House of Dragon, see for yourself what you think of her acting in that. But overall, in Supergirl, I was not a huge fan of her. I don't think she portrayed Supergirl to the best of her ability, even with this new alternate version of her that they're trying to go by in this new comic run. And other than that, I think that she just was not a great fit for the role. If you haven't seen Millie Alcock anything, check her out in Supergirl for yourself. See what you think. Did you enjoy her? So that brings me to the next person I like to talk about that was in this film. And that is none other than Superman himself in the film, Mr. David Cornysett. Oh yeah, David Cornysett. Woo, David Cornysett, yeah! So David Cornysett reprises his role of Superman in Supergirl, which was really fantastic. I wasn't a huge fan of David Cornysett at first, but he's kind of grown on me. He's not too shabby, he's not too bad, and I think he was a decent part of the film. I did enjoy watching him when he popped up in the film, and I thought that he did a decent job. I liked his interactions with Kara and how much, Kara sucks as a person, really, if you think about it. And I love that, David Cornysett still, his version of Superman still played into that great role of, good is good and evil is evil. And I like that he really brought a great funness to that character and his relationship with Kara and everything like that. And I think he did a decent job and good job that was highly entertaining in the film. I did enjoy that, and I thought that he was one of the better parts of the film that really helped me be entertained by the film and not absolutely hate the film so much. And I think that he really delivered on playing Superman again in this film and really shined that, yeah, he has grown as a Superman, and I think that that's fun. I think that he's doing a decent job. He's not, at a high level like Henry Cavill or Christopher Reeves, but at the same time, I think that he's doing an okay job that's entertaining enough to be a decent Superman. And I think that's what he brought to in Supergirl. Now, if you haven't seen Cornysett in anything, definitely you should check him out in, of course, Superman! Yeah! Superman, yeah! I mean, the best part about Superman was Lex Luthor. I absolutely loved Lex Luthor in Superman. He was so freaking awesome. Nicholas Hoult did an amazing job. And I think him and, David Cornysett played off each other very well as, good guy and bad guy fighting each other. And David Cornysett, like I said, has kind of grown on me. He's not as bad as I thought he was at first, and I have come to enjoy him to a certain extent. I think he's decent and fun, like I said. And I think that, Superman is a halfway decent film now. I do enjoy it more than I enjoyed Supergirl. I think that, Superman has been fun. I've watched it actually a few more times since I saw it in theaters, and actually every time it grows a little bit more and more on me, and it's been enjoyable. And I think David Cornysett, like I said, has done a okay job bringing that character to life, and I think that shines on how his talent has become better and better, and kind of what they saw in his talent and the reason why they casted him as Superman. Even though I'm a huge Henry Cavill fan, I'm a huge fan of his Superman. I always will love his Superman the best, and I wish he was continue to play Superman. I think that, Cornysett has done an okay job, and I think that he kind of shines very well in his, aspect of the Superman he's playing. And I think that really shines on his, growing talent of, maybe he will become better as an actor in different things and as his Superman as he goes along. And I'm seeing that improvement every time I watch the film. And it's pretty impressive. It's actually not too shabby. I think David Cornsett is a decent in Superman. If you haven't seen David Cornsett anything, check him out in Superman. He did a decent job. But overall, he was really fun and decent in Supergirl. I enjoyed him. I thought he was a great portion of the film. And I think he really made the film even more fun and enjoyable. If you haven't seen David Cornsett recently, check him out in Supergirl. See for yourself. Did you enjoy him in Supergirl? So that brings me to my favorite person in this film that I absolutely thought was absolutely fantastic, fun, and enjoyable, and rocked it in this film. He was probably the best part of this film. And that, of course, is Mr. Jason Momoa. Oh, yeah! Jason Momoa! Woo! Jason Momoa, yeah! So Jason Momoa, he can be in anything, and he can make the film so much better, and it's just always fun to watch. He is such an actor's actor, and he is so much fun to watch, and always enjoyable and entertaining. And his version of Lobo is absolutely fantastic and on point. He was absolutely the best part of this film, and I absolutely loved every second he was on screen. And I wish he had been on screen even more, because he would have made this film even more entertaining and enjoyable if he had been. And he was definitely casted right. He was perfect for the Lobo character. He has a look, he has the mannerisms, he has everything down for playing Lobo, and he is just so freaking awesome at it. And he was like, as soon as he popped on the screen, I absolutely just lit up and was like, oh my god, this movie's even better now that he's on screen and getting to see Lobo. And some of his one-liners throughout this film were just so great and so much fun, and just really made the film more entertaining and enjoyable. And I just think that overall it made the film a better film as well, and not make it the crap piece that, some people are saying, and then others are saying that it's good, and, everything else around the corner. Everyone has had several different opinions on this film. But I definitely think that Momoa definitely was the best part of it. And he did such a great job with bringing Lobo to life and giving us this really great character that just really evolved and became this really interesting character that you were rooting for throughout the film and wanting more of, because he just was so good. And a lot of people have said the same thing, that, it's too bad that they didn't give him more screen time, and that he should have gotten more screen time. And I agree with that. He definitely should have gotten more screen time, because I think that he would have stolen the show if he had. And that's probably why they didn't give him more, because I think that would have deterred from it being a Supergirl film and not more of a Lobo film. And I think that, he did the best job of the whole entire film and giving us this great character that will go down the line, and you're going to want more of him as Lobo. He just was absolutely fantastic. Now, if you haven't seen Jason Momoa in anything, definitely a great film to check him out in. It's a great film that I think is a decent entry into this franchise that started back in 2001, called Fast X. Yeah, Fast X. Yeah. His bad guy character, and supposed to be the son of the, bad guy in Fast 5. I thought that was kind of an interesting take back to the earlier in the franchise, and having this be a villain from the past, that is related to a villain of the past. And I thought that was kind of a cool concept and really enjoyable. And I enjoyed Momoa as a character. Definitely his look and everything wasn't my favorite fantastic thing to look at. But overall, I think he did a great job playing a really great bad guy and villain that was very interesting done, and definitely done great by Momoa. And, Jason did such a great job of playing pretty much any character anyways, but he was so fantastic as that character, and just super enjoyable and fun, and I just really got a kick out of it. I thought it was so good and so fun, and just a really well done, character that was a really great villain as well, and I think he's probably one of my favorite villains in the entire series. Besides, of course, I think, the character that played his dad in Fast 5 was really fantastic too, but his version of a character villain, I think, was really top-notch too, and I just thought it really shined in how great of an actor Momoa is. If you haven't seen Jason Momoa anything, definitely check him out in Fast 10. He was really fantastic as that villain. But overall, he was phenomenal in Supergirl. He was the best part of this film, and he absolutely was so dynamically fun and perfect for Lobo. If you haven't seen Jason Momoa recently, go check him out in Supergirl. He was absolutely absolutely phenomenal. So I just wanted to do a couple other mentions of a couple other people that were in the film that were a part of the main cast. We had Eve Ridley, who plays the kind of like young girl that's trying to get revenge for the death of the main villain, killing her family in the film, that ends up, going along with Supergirl and stuff like that. And I think she was just really a pointless character. She didn't add anything to the film. She was kind of annoying the whole entire film, and I think that she just was useless for this performance. I just don't think she added anything to the film. It's too bad because I feel that Eve has a lot of, growth and a lot of potential to be a decent actress, but I just didn't think she was anything that great in the film, and I don't think she was really that great opposite of, Millie Alcock. And I think that, she did an okay job to an extent, but overall I just found her character very irritating, and I feel that it was just a really pointless character that we didn't really need in the film. Then we also had David Krumholtz, who portrays Kara's father, who was absolutely fantastic in the film, and I really enjoyed seeing him portray her father. I thought that was a very interesting take, a very different take on that character, and we really haven't had much, live action adaptations of that character, and so seeing him kind of have a more bigger, fuller, role in a film for a Supergirl film was very interesting. And I love David Krumholtz, and I think he did an absolutely fantastic job portraying that character, and I found him to be very interesting, very surreal, very loving, and just a very interesting, character that was from Krypton that really shined in that moment. For what little time we got him, he played that character very well and to the T. And I just had to shout out these people and kind of give my thoughts on them as well. So what is Supergirl about? Basically, the premise of the story is Krypto basically gets shot with this concoction that is basically killing him. And Kara has to find and get the antidote from the main villain of the film. And basically she ends up going on this crusade along with this young girl to help her get revenge for the same bad guy for killing her family while trying to save her dog Krypto. And that's pretty much what the film is about. It's basically about saving Krypto and kind of her kind of becoming, getting into being more of Supergirl too as well. And I just think that it just had so much more potential to be such a better film, and it's just too bad because there was so much to do that they could have made it better, could have made it more enjoyable, more entertaining, better writing, better acting, better actors and actresses that just could have done a better job. I really thought that the villain in this was really lackluster too. I don't think he did anything great. I wasn't a huge fan of him. I didn't think he was really that great of a villain versus any other villains I've seen in other things. And it's too bad because it could have been a really decent villain that would have been fun and enjoyable to see, but it was just pretty basic. It was nothing that great, like on a high level like Thanos or Darkseid, or a bad guy like the Joker or Penguin or Catwoman, stuff like that. It just did not have that caliber. He just seemed like pretty much a evil dickhead, basically, was what he was, and it just was not a great villain. I thought it was kind of a useless villain as well, just like the girl was. And I think that they added them in to try to take some of the edge off of Millie Alcock's Supergirl, and so that it wasn't fully focused on her, because she's not that great in this. So I definitely think there was a lot of things they could have changed and altered that would have made this film so much better and be more entertaining. But overall, like I said, I thought that there was definitely great entertaining parts to it. I thought the music in the film was decent. The CGI, the fighting was all done really well, and it looked beautiful. It looked amazing on the big screen. I have to give it that. And I think that overall it could have been a really better film if they had casted it a little better and had some better writing. But other than that, an okay film. I would give this one probably 5 Golden Movie Boxes up out of 10. Definitely probably something I might eventually add to the collection if I decide to. But overall, I think that it's a one-time seer. I might check it out again when it hits HBO Max just to see if it's any different the second time around, like I did with Superman. But overall, it's an okay film that wasn't anything that spectacular, and I can see why it's not doing well in theaters. If you haven't seen it, though, I recommend at least go check it out in theaters now. See for yourself. What do you think about Supergirl? So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching, thank you for liking, also thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been here before, don't forget to check out any older or newer videos you might not see mine yet. And as usual, shout out to my subscribers, new and old. Thank you so much for being on our channel. You guys are rocking it. Thank you so much for watching. As always, catch you in the next one.